Creating a Life of Purpose, written and published by Sonic Tome. There's a quiet power in purpose. It whispers to us in the quiet moments when we pause, breathe, and listen. Yet far too often, we rush past it, too consumed by the noise and demands of everyday life to notice what's stirring beneath the surface. But the moment you tune in, really tune in, to the current that's been flowing through you all along, something shifts. That quiet whisper becomes a call, and you realize that there's more to this life than the pursuit of tasks and to-do lists. What if the path you're walking isn't as random as it seems? What if every challenge, every moment of doubt, and every quiet victory were not only shaping your story, but also guiding you towards something greater? Each step you've taken, every twist and turn, has brought you closer to something deeper, an understanding of your purpose, a connection to the unseen threads that bind your experience together. This journey isn't about figuring out what you're meant to do. It's about uncovering the truth of who you are and aligning with the innate power within you to create something that's uniquely yours. Along the way, there are no shortcuts, but there are keys to understanding how purpose unfolds and how you can become the person who not only discovers their purpose, but lives it fully, with heart and conviction. It's time to explore the landscape of your life with a new lens, to understand the unspoken forces that shape your choices and actions. Every moment you've lived, every person you've met, and every challenge you've overcome has led you to this point. The question is not whether purpose exists for you. The question is whether you'll be open enough to recognize it. Chapter 1. The Call Within. The journey to discovering one's purpose begins not with external answers, but with a quiet, persistent call from within. It's not the loud declarations of ambition or societal expectations, but a subtler whisper, something that feels like a natural pull, or an intuition that gently nudges. This call often surfaces as a sense that there's something deeper to pursue, a unique path meant for each of us alone. This inner voice can emerge in unexpected moments, during solitary walks, quiet evenings, or while witnessing the simplicity of nature. In these spaces, where the mind is less crowded, we feel the presence of something profound beneath the noise of daily life, asking us to look inward and listen. This call may feel vague at first, but it's a feeling that lingers, a faint yet undeniable awareness that there's more to our existence. Many people may brush this feeling aside, distracted by routines or dismissing it as an abstract notion. But for those willing to pause and reflect, there's wisdom in this inner stirring. The call doesn't necessarily offer specifics. It doesn't tell you what to do, but rather invites you to a process of self-inquiry and discovery. It's a spark that suggests that there's a unique contribution you're here to make, one that will only become clearer as you give it your attention. To explore this call within, it's essential to turn inward, away from the expectations placed upon us by society, family, or even our own preconceived ideas about success. When we look inward with patience and honesty, we uncover insights that feel authentically ours. This exploration requires a certain level of courage, for it often brings up questions we may not have answers to, such as, what is it that truly matters to me? Or, what brings me alive? These are not questions that can be rushed, nor can they be answered in a single sitting. They require contemplation and the willingness to sit with uncertainty. At first, this inner call may feel like an inexplicable draw to certain ideas, activities, or causes that resonate with you. Perhaps it's an interest in helping others, a fascination with creativity, or a deep appreciation for knowledge and wisdom. While these may seem like simple inclinations, they are often the initial breadcrumbs on the path to purpose. Following these subtle interests with curiosity can reveal layers of ourselves we might not yet understand. By exploring these layers, we begin to sense what feels meaningful and energizing, what feels true to us beyond the expectations of others. The call within is more than a feeling. It's a process of learning to trust oneself. It's easy to second-guess this voice, especially when it doesn't align with what others around us may value or pursue. Yet, Honoring this call is about building an inner confidence, a belief that your own sense of direction is valuable, even if it defies convention. This is not about having all the answers, but rather about acknowledging that there's a unique thread running through your life, a thread that you are meant to follow. In this pursuit, we also learn patience and acceptance, for discovering our purpose is not a sudden revelation, but a gradual unfolding. It's a journey that requires us to embrace the unknown and to let go of the need for certainty. We realize that, while purpose may ultimately be about what we bring to the world, it starts first as a quest within, an act of connecting deeply with who we are. The call within is not something we create or control, it's something we recognize and respond to. To answer this call, make time for silence, reflection, and meaningful solitude. Allow your mind to wander without judgment, to ask questions without demanding immediate solutions. This openness creates space for insights to emerge, for your purpose to start taking shape from the inside out. Embrace the uncertainty as part of the path, knowing that each step brings you closer to a life aligned with your deepest values and most authentic self. The call within is an invitation to live with intention, to seek fulfillment in ways that resonate deeply, and to pursue a life that feels, at its core, uniquely yours. Chapter 2. Uncovering True Desires. Uncovering our true desires is like unearthing hidden treasures that lie within us, often buried beneath layers of obligations, expectations, and roles we've been assigned over the years. True desires are not the fleeting wants driven by trends or surface-level aspirations, but rather those quiet, persistent wishes that have always felt like part of us, often from an early age. These desires don't shout, they whisper, speaking in a language that feels both personal and familiar. They reveal themselves in what lights us up, in the activities or ideas that make us lose track of time, and in the quiet excitement we feel when we imagine a life built around them. It requires courage to explore these desires without the filters of judgment or practicality. When we strip away what we believe we should want and focus on what genuinely excites us, we can start to see patterns emerging. These patterns often aren't defined by a single activity or ambition, but are rooted in a deep, almost intangible yearning, a desire for creative expression, for meaningful connections, for contribution, or perhaps for understanding life's mysteries. Each of us holds a different combination of these inner inclinations, and understanding them can be transformative. They serve as a compass pointing us toward a life that feels fulfilling. True desires often feel like an itch we can't quite scratch. We may not always understand why we're drawn to them, but there's something undeniably magnetic about them. To get closer to understanding these desires, we must let ourselves be curious. We can ask questions like, what would I pursue if there were no limits? Or, what have I always wanted to explore, but never allowed myself to? There's no need to judge these desires as realistic or unrealistic. The point is simply to give them room to breathe, to honor them as part of who we are. This exploration is less about finding answers, and more about listening carefully to the parts of ourselves that we might have silenced or overlooked. Some desires emerge in quiet moments when we're alone with our thoughts or immersed in an activity we love. Others appear unexpectedly, stirred by a book, a conversation, or an experience that resonates deeply. They may not always make logical sense, but they have a way of staying with us, calling us to pay attention. These are the signposts that mark the path to our purpose, guiding us to what feels most real and significant. True desires have a persistence about them. They may fade into the background at times, but they never truly disappear. They wait for us to be ready to recognize their significance. It's easy to feel guilty or uncertain about some of these desires, especially if they don't fit into our current lifestyle or seem impractical by conventional standards. Yet, desires are like seeds that need nurturing to grow. They need our attention and care, free from the constraints of judgment. We have to give ourselves permission to follow them, even if only in our imagination at first. Allowing ourselves to picture a life where these desires are honored can be a powerful step in recognizing their importance. Often, this simple act of visualization clarifies what we genuinely want versus what we think we should want. True desires are also resilient. They can adapt and shift, taking different forms as we grow. Sometimes the desire for connection may evolve from a dream of building a community to a desire to foster more intimate relationships. Or a passion for creativity may expand from an interest in art to an urge to inspire others through teaching or mentorship. When we follow these desires without being rigid, they have a way of shaping our lives in ways we couldn't anticipate, leading us down paths that reveal our purpose. As we peel back the layers and explore our deepest interests, we come face to face with what truly matters to us. This isn't a quick process. It's a journey that takes time, patience, and a willingness to question what we think we know about ourselves. We learn to trust these desires, to understand that they come from a place of authenticity. Over time, they reveal a direction, a sense of purpose that feels both exciting and grounding. True desires connect us to the essence of who we are, guiding us towards a life that feels meaningful. Even if the path isn't always straightforward, they are the foundation upon which a life of purpose is built, and honoring them is the first step in creating a life that feels genuinely fulfilling. Chapter 3: The Art of Intentional Living. Intentional living is a commitment to design a life that reflects our truest values, beliefs, and aspirations. It means moving through each day with a sense of purpose and clarity, making choices that support the vision we hold for ourselves, even in the smallest actions. This approach requires us to be fully present, aware of how we spend our time, where we invest our energy, and the impact of each decision. It's about living with a clear sense of why behind everything we do, so that our life isn't a series of automatic routines, but a carefully crafted experience that feels meaningful. At the core of intentional living is the awareness that life is finite and our time is our most precious resource. With this understanding, each moment gains importance, and we become more deliberate about what we allow into our lives. This isn't about achieving perfection or control over every detail, but rather about infusing our days with things that genuinely matter to us. We begin to ask ourselves questions like, does this align with who I want to become? Or, will this choice move me closer to the life I envision? These questions act as a filter, helping us to separate what truly enriches our life from what merely fills our time. Intentional living also calls for honesty, an openness to assess what aspects of our current life align with our values and which don't. This self-assessment can sometimes be uncomfortable, as it often reveals habits, relationships, or commitments that no longer serve us. Letting go of these things isn't always easy, but it's essential if we want to create space for what truly aligns with our purpose. The courage to make these changes is part of what defines intentional living. It's a practice of choosing our path with conviction, knowing that each decision shapes the quality of our life. Another aspect of intentional living is the recognition that we are influenced by our surroundings and the people in our lives. If we want to live authentically, we must pay attention to the environments we inhabit, as well as the energy and mindset of those we engage with. This awareness encourages us to seek out spaces and relationships that uplift us, that support our values and aspirations, and that inspire us to grow. The more we surround ourselves with influences that align with our intentions, the more naturally we embody the life we wish to create. This is about curating our environment to reflect the life we're building, so that everything around us acts as a reminder of our chosen path. Intentional living also extends to how we handle our inner life, the thoughts we entertain, the beliefs we hold, and the inner dialogue we engage in. When we live with intention, we learn to observe our thoughts without letting them dictate our actions. We choose beliefs that empower us and consciously work to release those that limit us. This inner work is fundamental, as our mindset directly influences our actions and, ultimately, the quality of our life. By becoming intentional about our inner dialogue, We lay the groundwork for a life built on self-acceptance, confidence, and resilience. This approach to life is also about prioritizing what brings us joy and fulfillment, not just for fleeting pleasure, but as a sustainable way of living. It's about finding a rhythm that balances responsibility with spontaneity, productivity with rest, and ambition with contentment. In an intentional life, joy is not an afterthought or a luxury, but a guiding principle. When we honor our well-being and make time for what nourishes us, whether that's creative expression, time with loved ones, or moments of solitude, we create a life that is not only purposeful but also deeply satisfying. Intentional living encourages us to redefine success in terms that feel meaningful to us. Instead of chasing external markers of achievement, we start to evaluate our life based on how aligned it feels with our core values. This shift brings a sense of peace, as we no longer measure ourselves against others' standards. Instead, we set our own criteria for a fulfilling life, one that resonates with our unique goals and desires. Living intentionally means that each day is a step toward the vision we hold for ourselves, regardless of how small or gradual that progress may seem. Ultimately, intentional living transforms the way we relate to time and priorities. Rather than seeing time as something to fill or pass, we view it as a canvas on which to paint our most authentic life. Each day becomes an opportunity to deepen our connection to what we value and to express those values through our actions. By choosing our experiences with care and presence, we create a life that doesn't just happen to us, but one we actively shape and inhabit fully. In the practice of intentional living, every action, however small, carries meaning, and each choice becomes a declaration of the life we choose to live. Chapter 4. Paths and Patterns. In life, there are certain themes and recurring experiences that seem to weave through our journey, hinting at something greater beneath the surface. These patterns might appear in the choices we repeatedly make, the challenges we continually face, or even the types of people we encounter. They serve as clues, revealing insights into who we are and what might be calling us forward. When we take the time to notice these recurring threads, they begin to form a map, guiding us towards a deeper understanding of our purpose. Sometimes these patterns emerge subtly in moments of quiet reflection, or they may appear as clear turning points, moments when we feel especially alive, or even when we find ourselves in similar situations time and time again. For some, these patterns show up as themes in relationships, perhaps learning lessons in trust or compassion. For others, they may appear as a consistent pull toward creativity, leadership, or service. The key is in recognizing these patterns as intentional, as if each encounter is a nudge toward growth, pushing us closer to the essence of who we're meant to become. Patterns can also reveal hidden parts of ourselves. When we face recurring challenges, they often indicate areas where we're being asked to learn something profound about our strengths, limitations, or beliefs. For instance, if we frequently find ourselves in situations that require resilience, perhaps it's life's way of inviting us to embody strength or courage. Or if we keep encountering situations that challenge our patience, it may be urging us to cultivate a deeper sense of acceptance or understanding. Each repeated experience acts as a reflection, mirroring parts of ourselves that we may not fully see. The concept of paths and patterns doesn't just relate to difficulties. It's also present in the joyful moments and the skills or talents that come naturally to us. When we find ourselves effortlessly drawn to particular activities or pursuits, it's often because they align with an aspect of our true self. These natural inclinations show up in ways that feel authentic and energizing, not because they're easy, but because they resonate with something deeper. By paying attention to these gifts and the joy they bring, we can better understand what we're here to contribute, what unique imprint we're meant to leave on the world. As we observe these recurring themes, we begin to notice a rhythm, a series of cycles where certain experiences come back around, each time offering a new layer of insight. It's as if life itself is a teacher, repeating lessons until we fully grasp their significance. In this way, Paths and patterns become our guides, showing us what to embrace and what to release, who to become, and how to live in alignment with our purpose. These cycles are often subtle, yet they shape us in profound ways, gradually transforming our understanding of ourselves and the world. Our life's path is not always linear. There are twists, setbacks, and unexpected changes, but within these shifts lie the threads of our purpose. Sometimes, we may feel as if we're going in circles, revisiting old fears or dreams, but each cycle offers something new, a deeper perspective, a fresh insight, a renewed sense of direction. With each turn, we get closer to understanding our unique path, learning to walk it with a sense of grace and trust, knowing that even the detours have something valuable to teach us. By observing the themes that arise in our lives, we also begin to recognize the interconnectedness of all things. We see how seemingly unrelated experiences fit together to form a coherent picture. What once felt random now reveals itself as a sequence of events that bring us closer to our essence. This perspective allows us to live with greater awareness, understanding that every encounter and every experience has a role in shaping who we are becoming. Through these patterns, life speaks to us in a language of symbols and signs. We may find ourselves drawn to certain books, conversations, or places at just the right time, each encounter adding a piece to the puzzle of our purpose. The beauty of this journey lies in its unpredictability, in the unexpected connections that reveal themselves along the way. The more we pay attention, the more we begin to see the artistry in our own lives, understanding that purpose is not a single destination, but a mosaic of meaningful moments woven together. Chapter 5. Fueling the Inner Flame. Embarking on a purpose-driven journey calls for a deep reservoir of inner motivation, a steady flame that keeps burning even through life's storms. This inner flame is more than just enthusiasm. It's a lasting energy, something that stays with us, even when challenges come our way. It's the strength behind our will, a force that sustains our efforts and reminds us why we began this journey in the first place. True motivation often begins with a vision that resonates deeply. It's a vision we can return to again and again, finding something new each time we reflect on it. This vision doesn't necessarily have to be grand or fixed. Sometimes it's an evolving picture of the life we're striving to create. The clearer and more personal this vision is, the more it fuels us. When we can picture what a purposeful life looks like for us, something stirs within, igniting that inner flame. It reminds us that we're not moving aimlessly. We're guided by something meaningful, something that aligns with the core of who we are. The journey of sustaining motivation also involves a practice of nurturing our spirit, of feeding our mind and soul with experiences and reflections that keep the fire alive. Just like tending to a real flame, it's essential to notice what fuels and strengthens it, and what dampens it. Regularly engaging in activities that inspire us, whether it's reading, exploring new ideas, creating something, or simply spending time in places that bring us peace, provides a steady source of fuel. These are the sparks that keep the flame alive, reminding us of the beauty of this journey. But staying motivated isn't always about grand gestures. Often it's about the small steps we take each day. Motivation thrives when we acknowledge our progress, however small it may seem. Every step forward, every task completed, brings a sense of accomplishment that reinforces our drive. Purpose is nurtured through consistency, through showing up day after day, even when we don't feel particularly inspired. Sometimes the simple act of moving forward becomes its own source of strength, and each small effort adds fuel to the inner flame. Surrounding ourselves with people who encourage and uplift us also plays a vital role in sustaining motivation. These are the people who remind us of our worth and our purpose, especially during times when self-doubt creeps in. There's a power in sharing our journey with others who believe in us, who understand our dreams, and who can offer perspective when we feel lost. They become a part of our motivation, a source of energy and support that helps to keep the flame burning brightly. Inner motivation also grows from a mindset of resilience. When we accept that challenges are a part of the journey, We become more adaptable and less likely to be shaken by obstacles. This resilient mindset acts as a shield, protecting our motivation from being dampened by temporary setbacks. Resilience transforms each difficulty into a learning opportunity, allowing us to gather strength from the very challenges that might otherwise drain us. It's about finding meaning even in the struggle, seeing each setback as part of the greater journey toward purpose. Our purpose-driven motivation becomes even stronger when we take time to connect with ourselves. This can be as simple as moments of stillness, time spent in nature, or quiet reflection. These pauses are powerful. They reconnect us to our innermost intentions and remind us of the deeper why behind our journey. Just as a flame needs oxygen, our inner fire needs moments of calm to keep burning steadily. These are the moments that refresh our energy and bring us back to center, grounding us in a sense of clarity and focus. In the end, fueling the inner flame is about creating a life that continually inspires us, a life that offers us both excitement and purpose. It's the ongoing effort to stay aligned with our values, to pursue what truly matters, and to cherish the joy of meaningful work. This flame is not just about finding purpose, it's about living each day with intention, allowing that purpose to light our path forward. When we fuel this inner flame, we're not just moving through life, we're fully alive, awake to the beauty of our journey, and ever motivated to keep going. Chapter 6. The Power of Community. One of the most transformative forces in our journey toward a meaningful life is the community we build around us. Being surrounded by like-minded individuals who share a similar sense of purpose or vision creates a powerful synergy, one that not only amplifies our own motivation, but also opens doors to perspectives and insights we may never have considered alone. There is a unique power in coming together with people who share similar values, goals, or simply the desire to live with intention. They become our support system, our sounding board, and our inspiration all rolled into one. Community shapes us in profound ways, serving as a mirror that reflects back the strengths we may not see in ourselves, and also gently exposing areas for growth. The right community helps us stay grounded and reminds us of who we are, even when self-doubt creeps in. It's the people who uplift us in our weakest moments and celebrate our victories as if they were their own who truly make a difference. This kind of support is invaluable because it reinforces our resolve and reminds us that we are never truly alone on this path. The diversity of voices within a community is one of its greatest gifts. When we're open to learning from the experiences of others, we start to see life from angles we may have overlooked. Someone else's journey can illuminate parts of our own, providing guidance and wisdom. Sometimes, just hearing someone else's story or observing their journey gives us a newfound sense of courage or resilience, as we realize that challenges, though unique to each of us, are a universal part of the human experience. In this way, community creates a collective wisdom that enriches each member individually and collectively. A purposeful community also invites us to share our own gifts and contributions. As much as we benefit from the support and knowledge of others, we also find our purpose strengthened when we become the ones offering encouragement, insight, or simply a listening ear. There is a special satisfaction that comes from lifting others up, from contributing positively to the lives of those around us. In fact, this reciprocity often becomes a cycle. By uplifting others, we in turn feel uplifted. Our contributions don't need to be grand to matter. Sometimes a few sincere words or small gestures are enough to create lasting impact. It's in these moments that community becomes not just a source of support, but also a vehicle through which we can express our purpose. Community has a unique way of keeping us accountable. When we know others are walking alongside us, their presence encourages us to stay true to our commitments. It's not about external pressure, but rather the quiet motivation that comes from being seen and heard by those who care about our journey. Our goals feel more real when they're shared. Just as they cheer us on, they help us remain steady when we might otherwise falter. In this way, community becomes a source of strength that bolsters us through every stage of the journey. Then there's the collective energy that comes from gathering with like-minded people. There's an almost electric charge that fills the space when people with shared values come together, each bringing their own dreams, ideas, and aspirations. This energy becomes contagious, lifting everyone to a higher level of enthusiasm and focus. It's often in the company of others that we find ourselves pushing beyond our perceived limits, fueled by the shared excitement of collective growth. The energy of a united group often makes the impossible feel possible, transforming what could be solitary struggles into shared triumphs. When we allow ourselves to be fully present within a community, we're also reminded of the beauty of shared humanity. The world can sometimes feel divided, but within a supportive community, differences fade and commonalities take center stage. People come together not in spite of their differences but because of them, recognizing that each person brings something essential to the table. Here, vulnerability is met with compassion, and aspirations are met with encouragement. This interconnectedness is powerful. It reinforces the sense that our individual journeys, though unique, are part of something much larger. Lastly, a true community encourages us to dream bigger, reminding us that our purpose isn't confined to personal growth alone. It expands outward, connecting us to something more universal, something that has the power to shape not only our lives, but also the lives of others. Together, we amplify each other's voices, broaden each other's horizons, and strengthen each other's resolve, creating a ripple effect that goes far beyond what we could accomplish alone. In the end, the power of community is in how it continually brings out the best in each of us, as we support and elevate one another on the path to living a meaningful life. Chapter 7. Resilience through the unknown. In life, moments of uncertainty act as the truest tests of our commitment and the depth of our purpose. It's easy to feel confident when the path is clear, but when we're thrown into the unknown, we discover our true strength. The unknown isn't meant to discourage us. Rather, it serves as a crucible, shaping us in ways we couldn't anticipate. Each challenge forces us to look deeper, drawing on reserves of resilience that often lie dormant within us until called upon. This journey through unpredictability is a rite of passage, a means of forging a connection to our purpose that's stronger than fear or doubt. Facing the unknown calls us to trust ourselves on a level that feels both unsettling and liberating. It's in these moments that we let go of the need for perfect clarity and instead rely on our inner compass, our intuition. Uncertainty is uncomfortable, yet it also holds a raw beauty. It forces us to confront our limits and, in doing so, to expand them. With every challenge met, a new layer of resilience is formed, building upon itself to create an unshakable foundation. This resilience isn't about brute strength. It's about adaptability, flexibility, and an openness to learn and grow even in the most trying circumstances. Challenges reveal the importance of presence, being fully engaged in the moment instead of preoccupied with what lies ahead. When we immerse ourselves in the present, we free ourselves from the weight of future fears and doubts. In each moment, we discover an ability to move forward, one step at a time, embracing each small victory as it comes. This approach doesn't necessarily make the unknown easier, but it shifts our perspective, helping us see each obstacle as a temporary state rather than an insurmountable barrier. The unknown then becomes less about what's missing from our lives and more about what's possible. In the face of adversity, our sense of purpose becomes a lifeline, grounding us amid the chaos. The commitment to our path turns into a source of inner strength, one that grows richer with every obstacle we overcome. When we choose to see challenges as teachers rather than adversaries, we transform our relationship with them. Instead of fearing setbacks, we start to understand them as necessary parts of our journey, each one imparting lessons that guide us forward. It's through these tests that we begin to recognize our resilience, not as something we acquire, but as something we uncover, a force that has been with us all along. The unknown also serves as a powerful reminder that we don't have control over everything, and that's okay. Often it's in the surrender to what we can't control that we find our greatest clarity. By releasing the need for certainty, we open ourselves to new possibilities, trusting that our inner strength will carry us through even if we can't see every step of the way. This act of trust transforms the journey. It reminds us that life isn't a linear progression, but a series of experiences that, taken together, lead us to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our purpose. True resilience, then, isn't about pushing through challenges with gritted teeth. It's about leaning into them, allowing them to shape us without letting them define us. When we view each challenge as a stepping stone, we start to see that setbacks don't take us off our path. They deepen our connection to it. With each encounter, our understanding of our purpose grows stronger, more nuanced, more aligned with who we are at our core. It's this continual refinement that makes resilience a skill, a mindset, and an essential part of living a purpose-driven life. Finally, when we embrace the unknown as a necessary aspect of our growth, we begin to see it as an ally rather than an obstacle. The unknown pushes us out of our comfort zones, challenging us to grow in ways that stability and predictability cannot. It's through the unknown that we learn to trust the process, to remain steady in our purpose, even when the path is anything but clear. In doing so, we cultivate a resilience that's not only about enduring life's challenges, but about thriving through them, emerging each time with a greater sense of purpose and a renewed commitment to the journey ahead. Chapter 8. Echoes of Impact. Life is more than a personal journey. It's a vast web where our actions, however small, create ripples that extend far beyond our immediate view. Often we measure success in terms of what we accomplish for ourselves, yet true fulfillment arises when we recognize the powerful effects we have on others. The world around us is shaped by our interactions, our choices, and the quiet moments that may seem insignificant in the moment, but hold immense weight in the grander scheme of things. These ripples, these echoes, are the unspoken legacy we leave behind, adding layers of meaning to our purpose. The subtlety of impact can be deceiving. It's easy to assume that only monumental gestures or dramatic acts of change matter, but the most profound effects often stem from the day-to-day decisions we make. A simple act of kindness, an encouraging word at the right time, or offering a helping hand, can create waves that resonate much longer than we ever realize. The truth is, we don't always see the immediate results of our actions. Yet, the energy we put out into the world doesn't fade. It transforms, finding its way into places we may never expect. Every interaction, no matter how fleeting, carries the potential to shift someone else's path. Think of a person you've encountered, perhaps only for a brief moment, who left an impression on you, a comment, a smile, a gesture that lingered long after the encounter ended. This is the power of human connection, the way our actions reverberate across the lives of others, nudging them, inspiring them, or even challenging them to grow. What we do, no matter how ordinary it may seem, can catalyze transformation in others. We become a thread in the tapestry of someone else's journey, and through these connections, the broader narrative of life is woven. Our impact is also shaped by the way we show up in the world. How we approach challenges, the way we express gratitude, or how we handle adversity speaks volumes not just to those around us, but to the energy we invite into our own lives. By living authentically, grounded in our values and committed to our purpose, we set an example that others can follow. When we lead with integrity and compassion, we ignite similar qualities in those we encounter, whether they are consciously aware of it or not. Our actions, both deliberate and subconscious, form the foundation for the actions of others, creating an ongoing cycle of influence that transcends time. The beauty of this process lies in its organic nature. The impact we have is often indirect. Sometimes we may never know the full extent of how our presence has altered another person's course. A conversation that may have seemed trivial at the time could be the spark someone needed to take a leap, make a decision, or find the courage to change. In this way, our purpose intertwines with that of others, creating a collective momentum that is much greater than the sum of its parts. We all influence each other, sometimes without even realizing it. This interconnectedness serves as a reminder that our purpose is never isolated. It is embedded in the lives we touch, the ways we help others navigate their own journeys, and the moments when we show up for those who need us most. There is no real separation between the paths we walk individually and the collective path of humanity. Our purpose, therefore, is not only about our personal fulfillment, but about the way we contribute to the shared experience of those around us. It's about recognizing that every moment is an opportunity to plant seeds of impact that will grow and bloom long after we have moved on. The echoes of our actions are not limited to those we encounter directly. They ripple through time, influencing generations to come. Think of the wisdom passed down from one person to another, how ideas and lessons are shared, evolving as they travel through history. Our actions, our words, and our intentions have a lasting legacy, often shaping the future in ways we cannot predict. When we approach life with purpose, we create a lasting imprint on the world, not through what we achieve for ourselves, but through what we contribute to the world around us. Each act of kindness, each moment of courage, and each decision to stay true to our values becomes a thread in the larger fabric of humanity, weaving a tapestry that extends far beyond the scope of our own lifetime. In the end, the most profound measure of our lives lies not in the tangible things we accumulate or the accolades we receive, but in the subtle, enduring impact we leave on the hearts and minds of others. It's in the way our actions reverberate through the world, adding richness and meaning to the lives of those we touch. It's in the way we create a ripple effect that continues long after the initial act, shaping the world in ways that we may never fully understand, but that are no less significant. These echoes, these ripples of influence, are what breathe life into our purpose, turning it from a solitary pursuit into a shared, interconnected journey. Chapter 9. Refining the Path Over Time. Purpose is not a destination. It is a journey that unfolds, adapts, and deepens with every step we take. There is a natural rhythm to life that demands we evolve, and as we do, our sense of purpose must evolve too. Early in life, we may see purpose as something fixed, a singular vision that we work toward with determination. But over time, as we face new experiences, form different relationships, and encounter unforeseen challenges, that initial vision often broadens, shifts, and deepens. It is not a sign of failure or indecision, but a testament to our growth as individuals. Purpose, like everything else in life, is fluid, and its evolution is an essential part of its meaning. Every life experience, whether joyous or difficult, is a piece of the puzzle that shapes our path. The victories, the failures, the quiet moments of reflection, and the intense moments of change, each of these contribute to the ongoing refinement of our purpose. These experiences, though sometimes hard to understand in the moment, act as the brushes that refine the canvas of our life. We often look back at periods of struggle and see them in a new light, realizing how they steered us toward new insights, strengths, and understanding. Life has a way of revealing new layers of purpose when we allow ourselves the grace to adapt and learn from what happens to us. As we move through life, our sense of what matters most can shift. The ambitions we once had might become less important, replaced by a deeper sense of what truly brings fulfillment and peace. What was once considered a goal or success may lose its shine, while quieter aspirations take their place. This is not a loss, but a progression. The wisdom gained from experience is invaluable, and as we allow ourselves to shift in response to what life presents, we come to understand that the essence of purpose is not to remain static, but to grow with us. Purpose that remains unchanged despite personal growth can easily become a burden, a task to achieve rather than a truth to live by. In this journey, it is important to shed the pressure of rigid expectations. It's easy to feel as though we must have everything figured out, to follow a straight line from where we are to where we think we should be. Yet, real life is anything but linear. The detours, the moments of confusion, the the pivoting from one path to another, they are all integral to the process. Over time, we come to realize that life is not a series of failures or successes, but a continual refining of who we are and how we show up in the world. As we move forward, purpose is not simply a goal to be achieved, but a way of navigating life's complexities, a guiding force that grows more profound the more we learn. There is also great beauty in embracing uncertainty. In a world that often values clear answers and certainty, the unknown can be a source of liberation. Purpose is not always something we grasp immediately. Sometimes it reveals itself in unexpected ways, perhaps a chance conversation, a sudden change in circumstance, or a shift in perspective brings clarity where none existed before. By being open to these moments, we give ourselves permission to grow with our purpose, instead of forcing it to conform to preconceived notions. The willingness to evolve and adapt gives us the freedom to transform our vision and allows us to see new opportunities where others might see obstacles. This process of refinement also calls for self-compassion. We are often our harshest critics, demanding that we stay on course even when the journey becomes difficult or unclear. Yet there is no shame in recalibrating, in stepping back to reassess and reorient. To truly refine one's path is to embrace the imperfections and acknowledge the lessons in every step. Some days we may feel as though we have strayed too far from our original purpose, but in reality, the twists and turns have led us closer to a fuller understanding of who we are and what we are meant to contribute. Purpose is not just about destination, but about the richness of the journey itself. The people we meet along the way also play a pivotal role in shaping our purpose over time. Whether they challenge us, support us, or inspire us, the relationships we build deepen our understanding of our place in the world. Often, our purpose becomes clearer when we allow ourselves to engage deeply with others, listening to their stories, understanding their perspectives, and recognizing the common threads that unite us all. These connections don't always follow a predictable path. Sometimes they push us in new directions or introduce us to aspects of ourselves we never knew existed. The tapestry of human connection we weave with others often helps define the fabric of our own purpose. As we grow older, the way we see the world, and consequently the way we define our purpose, changes. We begin to see more clearly the interconnectedness of all things. What once seemed like separate, isolated events now appear as part of a greater flow, each experience contributing to a larger narrative. Purpose, therefore, becomes less about individual achievement and more about the collective journey, the shared human experience that we are all part of. The realization that our purpose is not only about us but about how we contribute to others, and the world around us transforms our perspective. It turns our journey from one of solitary pursuit into a path of collective meaning. In this way, purpose is an ever-changing dynamic force that molds itself to who we are becoming. As we continue to experience life, meet new people, and expand our awareness, purpose takes on new dimensions. It becomes richer, deeper, and more aligned with the person we are growing into. Embracing the evolution of purpose is not only necessary but empowering. It allows us to let go of the illusion of permanence and invites us to trust in the process. Life's fluidity, when embraced, becomes the canvas for our truest, most expansive purpose. Chapter 10. Living with Legacy in Mind. The idea of legacy is not merely about what we leave behind when we're gone. It's about the energy, values, and impact we sow into the world every single day. It's woven into the fabric of our actions, the way we treat others, and the intentions we set. Legacy is not something you plan for at the end of your life. It's something you cultivate every moment you're alive. To live with legacy in mind is to live intentionally, making choices that reflect a deep understanding of your role in the greater story of life. When you begin to view each moment through the lens of legacy, you shift your focus from the transient to the eternal. Your interactions with others, the way you approach challenges, and the way you care for your mind, body, and spirit all become reflections of what you wish to leave behind. This mindset doesn't require grand gestures or monumental achievements. In fact, It's often the small, seemingly inconsequential moments that build the foundation of a lasting legacy. A kind word, an act of service, a moment of integrity. These ripple out and create waves of influence that extend far beyond your immediate reach. Living with legacy in mind invites you to consider not just your own life, but the lives of others and the world you inhabit. What influence are you contributing to? What patterns are you setting in motion that will endure long after you are no longer present to witness them? By living with this awareness, you begin to see beyond the surface level of daily life. You recognize that every action has the potential to make an imprint, whether it's on an individual or on a community. The legacy you create is not only about what you accomplish, but about who you become in the process. It's shaped by your authenticity, your compassion, and your ability to align your actions with your deeper values. To live in this way is to prioritize the long term over the immediate. It's about building habits that will endure, not just for the sake of personal growth, but to influence the world in a way that reflects your values. This requires discipline, yes, but it also requires a sense of humility. A lasting legacy isn't about ego. It's about contributing something meaningful to the world, without the expectation of recognition. It's about the quiet, steady contributions you make that may never be seen by the masses, but will be felt deeply by those whose lives you touch. Legacy is also shaped by the lessons you impart to others. Think of the people around you, family, friends, colleagues, even strangers. What wisdom, guidance, or encouragement can you offer that will continue to shape their paths? Our greatest legacies often live on in the actions and decisions of those we leave behind. By offering mentorship, guidance, or simply being a positive example, we pass on the torch to others. The impact of your life becomes part of a larger cycle, where your influence doesn't end with you, but perpetuates itself in the lives of others. The ability to live with legacy in mind also demands that we align our inner world with our outer actions. The most powerful legacy is not one that is simply handed down externally. It is an internal legacy, one that is marked by the principles, virtues, and qualities we embody on a daily basis. It's the quiet discipline of living with integrity, the way we handle adversity, and how we choose to respond in moments of uncertainty. This internal legacy becomes the cornerstone of a broader impact, as it radiates outward, influencing not just our immediate circles but also shaping the environment around us. The energy we bring into a room, the attitude we carry, and the way we approach life has the power to inspire and uplift others, creating ripples that last. In focusing on legacy, it's crucial to remember that every life, no matter how small it may seem, has an impact. Often, the world tells us to seek fame, to accumulate wealth, or to pursue grand accomplishments as markers of a meaningful life. But these external measures are fleeting. A truly meaningful legacy is built through the strength of character, the depth of your relationships, and the sincerity of your actions. It's found in the kindness you extend, the people you uplift, and the values you embody when no one is watching. Legacy lives in the moments that might seem small in the grand scheme, but have profound effects on the people around you. To cultivate a lasting legacy is also to understand the importance of consistency. It's not about having one defining moment or one great act of success that sets you apart. Instead, it's about showing up every day with intention, aligning your thoughts and actions with the kind of world you want to see. A legacy is the cumulative result of the choices we make over time, each one building upon the next. It's a mosaic of moments that, when viewed from a distance, reveals a picture of someone who lived with purpose, someone whose life was defined by a greater mission than personal gain. Living with legacy in mind also brings with it a profound sense of peace. When you live your life knowing that every day you are contributing to something greater than yourself, you begin to shed the distractions and superficial concerns that often cloud our minds. You stop measuring your worth by external success and start measuring it by the impact you have on others and the world. This shift in perspective creates a deep, abiding satisfaction that comes not from accolades or achievements, but from knowing you are living in alignment with your truest purpose. It's a quiet confidence that emerges from living authentically and with intention. Legacy is about more than leaving behind a name or a reputation. It's about creating an environment where your values continue to influence future generations. It's about sowing seeds that will grow, even when you're no longer around to witness them. These seeds are planted in the hearts of those you inspire, the lessons you impart, and the example you set. Whether you influence one person or many, your legacy is the quiet, powerful force that shapes the world for years to come. It's a reminder that the true measure of a life well lived is not in what we accumulate, but in how we contribute to the world and the people in it. Chapter 11. A Journey of Fulfillment. Fulfillment is not a destination. It's a process, a journey that unfurls with each step we take. It's found in the quiet moments of progress, the small victories that happen daily, and in the way we grow, adapt, and evolve along the way. Life's journey is not just about reaching an end goal or ticking off boxes. It's about the richness of the experience, the ups and downs, the learning, and the moments of quiet reflection. Fulfillment is in the movement itself, in the understanding that every phase, whether it's a challenge or a triumph, contributes to the whole of who we are becoming. Living with a sense of fulfillment is about recognizing that each stage of life has its own inherent value. Too often, we get caught up in the rush to get to the next big thing, believing that fulfillment will only come when we achieve something external. But the truth is, fulfillment is more of a state of mind, a recognition that every moment carries meaning. The way you approach each day, how you show up, the energy you bring, the attitudes you cultivate, shapes your experience of life. Fulfillment is not something that happens at a particular moment, but is the result of the way you engage with life as it happens. We often think of fulfillment as something we will experience someday, once we've reached some future milestone. Yet, in reality, fulfillment is found in the very act of living intentionally. It's in aligning your daily actions with your inner values and taking the time to truly savor the journey, however long or short it may be. Each day brings an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to deepen your connection with your purpose. When you embrace each day as part of the larger journey, it helps you shift your perspective. The process itself becomes a source of joy, rather than focusing only on the end result. Fulfillment also lies in the realization that purpose is not a one-time revelation. It's a living, breathing part of you that evolves and shifts over time. The purpose you set out with at one stage of life might look different as you grow and experience new things. This constant unfolding of purpose isn't something to fear, but something to embrace. It means that life is dynamic, and so are you. Each chapter you live through is another layer of the person you are becoming. When you allow yourself the freedom to explore and change, fulfillment becomes a byproduct of your openness to the unknown and the willingness to grow beyond your current limits. The most fulfilling moments are often those that come when we least expect them, when we pause, reflect, and realize how far we've come. We live in a world that constantly urges us to move faster, do more, and achieve more. But fulfillment isn't necessarily about doing, it's about being. It's in the quiet realization of how the small actions you take every day, over time, build into something meaningful. It's in the relationships you nurture, the dreams you chase, and the way you show up for yourself and others. These moments of quiet gratitude, the recognition of how everything fits together, make up the true fabric of fulfillment. Embracing fulfillment also means accepting that life won't always follow a straight line. There will be detours, setbacks, and moments when you feel uncertain about your direction. But it's in these moments of struggle that you discover resilience, and it's through overcoming challenges that fulfillment deepens. Every obstacle you face, when approached with the right mindset, adds another layer of wisdom to your journey. These experiences refine your sense of self and deepen your commitment to your purpose. Fulfillment isn't about avoiding hardship. It's about growing through it, learning from it, and finding meaning in it. Purpose is also deeply connected to your capacity for contribution. Fulfillment arises when you step beyond yourself and contribute to the world around you. This could be through your work, through acts of kindness, through the way you mentor or uplift others. The sense of meaning grows stronger when you see that your life is part of a greater whole. When you realize that your purpose isn't just about personal achievement but also about how you impact others, fulfillment becomes less about receiving and more about giving. As your journey unfolds, fulfillment also grows through the cultivation of a deep connection to your inner self. When you know who you are at your core, when you trust in your unique path and honor your strengths and weaknesses, you are better equipped to find fulfillment in every experience. Life's journey is less about chasing after external rewards and more about aligning with your inner compass. The more you connect with your true self, the more you understand what truly brings you peace and satisfaction. And when you honor that, fulfillment follows naturally. Fulfillment is a result of the integration of your inner and outer worlds. It's about bringing your whole self into every aspect of life, your values, your beliefs, your passions. When you align your actions with what matters most to you, you start to notice that the journey itself is the reward. The pursuit of fulfillment is not about acquiring more or achieving more. It's about living fully, embracing each moment, and allowing life to unfold in its own perfect timing. It's about realizing that you are already enough, and everything that happens along the way is part of a larger, meaningful tapestry that is being woven day by day. In the end, the most fulfilling lives are those that embrace the journey, trust in the unfolding process, and are deeply engaged in the present. Fulfillment is the deep satisfaction of knowing that you're not just living passively, but actively creating a life that reflects who you truly are. It's found in the peace that comes from living authentically, in the joy that arises from relationships, and in the contentment that comes from doing what you love. The journey is the fulfillment, not something to be found only in the future, but something to be experienced here and now, every step of the way. Conclusion. When you reach the final page of this journey, you may find yourself pausing, looking back at the path you've walked, the moments of doubt, the bursts of clarity, and the quiet moments when you felt something stirring deep within you. The journey of purpose isn't a neat linear story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. It's an unfolding, a constant ebb and flow between moments of certainty and moments of exploration. But what becomes clear, as you look back on the trail you followed, is that purpose was never a destination. It was the way you walked, the choices you made, the courage to listen to your inner calling, and the faith to step forward even when the full picture wasn't in view. There's no final revelation that will suddenly light up the whole road ahead. What you've learned here isn't meant to be a one-time lesson. It's a reminder of the ongoing process of discovery, growth, and connection to something greater than yourself. Every choice you make, every day you live intentionally, adds another layer to the life you're crafting. Purpose isn't a single point in time. It's woven into the fabric of every moment you fully experience. The journey doesn't end here, but the foundation is now set. The tools, the insights, the quiet whispers that guided you throughout this journey, they're always with you, ready for the next chapter, the next adventure. Keep listening, keep creating, keep moving forward, knowing that the purpose you seek is not something waiting for you somewhere in the future. It's alive and unfolding right here, right now, in the choices you make, in the life you're living, in the person you're becoming.